here on Nuga Radio.
For your small business, ending the year the right way can set you up for success come January. No need to let end-of-year panic set in. Easy Books and Taxes can help set up your books or new payroll service so that you can relax and enjoy the holiday season. With 35 years, bookkeeping, individual, and business tax preparation, it's easy. With Easy Books and Taxes, you run the business, we keep the books. Call us today at 423-755-0821.
92.7 Nuga Radio.
Good morning, beautiful people. It's your girl Marie Mott with the Marie Mott Show, and y'all know what it is. I'm taking it from the streets to City Hall, from City Hall to the mayor's office. Can't leave out the police department. From the Valley Low to the mountaintop, give you guys a bird's eye view to what's going on here in the city of Chattanooga. Good morning, everyone. Did y'all miss me? I know y'all missed me because I missed y'all. Did you miss me? I had to take a break. I went to Louisiana, went to New Orleans and Opelousas, Louisiana, the past couple of days. That's why I have not been on the air. And as they say, absence makes the heart grow fonder. And I know even for probably some of my haters, y'all missed me last week. And I'm back. I'm back for those that love me. For those that can't stand me, it's all right. Because I know some of my haters are tuning in to see what Marie is going to talk about today. And I took a break from the radio, but mercy me, if America has not just been, the city been going crazy, America's been going nuts. What is happening? Oh, man, before I get into it, y'all know what it is. Marie Mott with the Marie Mott Show. Call-in number is always the same, 800-8949 if you want to call and chop it up with me. And if you want to drop a comment, please don't hesitate to do that. Don't forget to drop a comment if you can't call in. Interact with me. Streaming live on YouTube and on Facebook. Wave, drop a comment. Like the Facebook page if you have not, and the YouTube channel. Click on the bell on the YouTube channel so you can be notified when we come on. And interact with us. Follow me so you know what's going on. Follow David Tullis, Russell Stroud, Val, Sam, Nick LaFew, Keon Rose. Just follow the Nuga Radio 92.7 FM family. We are here for you, the listener. Oh, man, let's get into it. Today, we're talking about check your privilege at the door. And I'm going to mix in a little bit of agape love because I don't know what is in the water right now. I don't know if it's because we're in an extremely lit political situation right now. So much is going on in politics. But before I get into today's topic, I want to, because I left the city before I could address what happened at City Council last week. Some people know, if you tune in on a regular basis, you know that I had a meeting with the police chief. And I can't call these folks anything but what they are. These chumps. And it's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about privilege today, checking your privilege, understanding how some of us have privileges that other people do not have. If we're male, if we're white, if we're Christian, if we are good looking, we have privileges that certain people do not have. And I don't think people understand often because, especially here in the South, where we're still pretty segregated. And unfortunately, when I listen to people like Malcolm X, one of the things that he said is still true for the most part. The most segregated hour in America is high noon on Sunday. We're still pretty divided. And shucks, it seems as if we're more divided than we have ever been, not only in the city of Chattanooga, but in this country. And one of the things that I was taught growing up is that America is a melting pot. You don't hear people say that anymore. And what they meant is that America is made up of different cultures, different ethnicities, different beliefs, right? That America is this culmination of differences. And what should make America great is the fact that we should be able to put aside our own personal way of seeing the world and be able to understand others, empathize with others, sympathize with others based on their personal experience and their shoes in which we have not walked. And so when I talk to the police chief, I'm going to state what I told him. I told him specifically that me as a citizen, I will not watch. I didn't put the burden on anybody else. My responses, my thoughts, my beliefs are quite my own. I told him that I would not be able to watch an individual be brutalized by the Chattanooga Police Department. I would not be able to watch a woman be raped by the Chattanooga Police Department. I would not be able to see these microaggressions that often happen at the hands of the Chattanooga Police Department. I would not. I didn't say everybody else. I didn't put the burden on the rest of the Chattanooga citizens. I said Marie Rachel Hogue Mott. That is my legal name. I could not sit by and watch and be left with the responsibility of seeing a situation where the spirit in me would allow fear or intimidation to prevent me from speaking out or stepping in a situation of an innocent individual. If we believe in the Constitution and we believe in due process, there's absolutely no reason when you talk to people like Mike Steele, whose father was a police officer for almost 4 decades, never fired his service weapon, didn't have to beat people up. It's possible to police the majority of citizens because the majority of citizens are law-abiding citizens. The belief that we live in a crime element is sensationalism. Why? To keep you stuck on putting all your tax dollars into the Chattanooga Police Department's hands. Zero to education, little to family development, raggedy roads we drive on, none to local economy. But we need $74.4 million to go into the Chattanooga Police Department. I am convicted. I'm convicted because regardless of who you are, nobody has a right to beat on you. Nobody has a right to rape you. Nobody has a right to put their hands on you, short of you trying to injure somebody else. And I don't understand when police have all the mace, all the bullets, all the guns. They could put in their itemized budget $100,000 for bullets. I don't know who they plan on shooting with all those bullets. How are they intimidated by a 5'2"? I'm quite short. I'm tall in spirit. How are you intimidated by me? You're not intimidated by me in the flesh. You're intimidated by my spirit. You're intimidated by my voice. You're intimidated by my intellect. You're intimidated by my stance that I believe in the people, that I stand for the people, and we deserve peace. And so I wanted to clear the air because, first of all, let me make this very, very clear. I'm not afraid of a police officer. I'm not saying that often if I'm pulled over and things, that fear does not come over me. In a lot of instances, fear does. The fear of speaking out against the city council when I know that they have power. I know that they have power. I know the mayor has power. It's not that fear does not come upon me, and I just don't let it overtake me. I refuse. I refuse to live my life in fear. I refuse to be backed into a corner. I refuse to be intimidated, and I've always been this way. And if you don't believe me, you should talk to my mother. I've always been this way, and I refuse to change. They're not afraid of my words, really. I think they're afraid of the fact that I am encouraging solidarity, people to fight back. And I don't mean fight back with your physical fist. I don't mean fight back in a flesh and blood sense. I mean, fight back against systems of oppression and terror. And it's time for us to tear down these systems with our bare hands. Our bare hands. And for the people and for an innocent individual, I would rather live and die protecting someone than to live with the consequence of the mental abuse that I would endure watching somebody get beaten or murdered or raped in front of me and I did nothing. Evil prevails only when good men and women stand by and choose to do nothing. And I think when we talk about what is going on in America, a lot of people have their head in the sand because it costs a whole lot. Yeah. When you have council persons get up and take, basically, he didn't take it out of context. He lied. He lied. Councilman Henderson lied. I didn't threaten any officer. I didn't threaten the police chief. If that was true, I would have been in handcuffs at the end of the meeting. He wouldn't have waited till let Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and wait till Tuesday to address me in a public sense. They have my phone number. Why didn't he call me to clear the air? Chump tactics. But if anybody, because I'm sure they're listening, if anybody is listening in the mayor's office or at city council, I'm coming for you tomorrow. You better believe I'm back at it. I'm back home. I took a break. I'm ready. I'm in the game. I'm not going anywhere. You can't stop me. I refuse to turn back. I've come too far. Too many people need help. Check your privilege at the door. Let's talk about it. Because I think it's absolutely ridiculous that we're still having to talk about privilege. We're still having to talk about race. We're still having to talk about these tired, dusty subjects because people refuse to get it right. I live in a city where it's a church on just about every corner, a mosque, a synagogue, a place of worship. And if that wasn't enough, there's a charity, a charitable 501c3 organization taking up the rest of the space. Chattanooga should be a city that has little problems because there's so many people who have the capacity to help those in need in the city. But unfortunately, what I see, and this is just my take on this, is that we have white privilege in the city. We have male privilege in this city. We have class privilege in the city. We have able-bodied privilege in the city. We have Christian privilege in this city. And when I say privilege, what does that mean? The unearned access to social power based on a membership in a dominant social group. Let me rewind that and say that one more time. When I say privilege, check your privilege. That means the unearned access to social power based on membership in a dominant social group. We do live in a country that is based very much on hierarchy. Now, we can pretend we don't live, we don't live in a world like that, but it's true. And if you find yourself, in particular, shucks, if you qualify for all three of the top three, which is white, male, Christian, more than likely, you're going to find yourself, I'm not going to say life is going to be easy for you. I won't lie, but you'll find yourself, and here's the thing, when I've talked about race is because nobody in this system, nobody in this time period has built the system of racism, but people have participated in the system of racism, whether they like it or not. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Talk to me.
Do not go away again. Your voice is like music to my ears.
Good morning.
And, I know you're stating what people think is an opinion, but let's go to why what you're saying is the law. And I think you probably know while these titles, these privileges are unconstitutional. Article 1, Section 10, no state shall grant any title of nobility. Oh, what is a title of nobility? What is a nobleman? Anyone that gets a privilege over and above an Amish person that walks out of the backwoods with no driver's license, registration, insurance, or a social security number. The second you give that person a privilege, they have been granted a title of nobility. And if the state, and the state, it means the city, because the city exists by permission of the state, gives any money or special to any group or organization, they have thereby granted them a title of nobility in violation of the law.
Yes, sir. Mike.
Okay.
I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to hear you.
Welcome back. Don't go away again, please.
Thank you, sir. That is right. Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution talks about titles of nobility. If you don't know what titles of nobility is, that is to be treated such as like a king, a queen, a baroness, a baron, right? These ancient titles that once existed in English society. Well, again, this is why it's important to not deviate from the concrete constitutional steps that we have been given, because the moment we do, we're going to trip and fall. We're going to trip up. We're going to get sucked in to the mistakes that have already been made. And I continue to state that those who don't know history are doomed to repeat its worst atrocities until we learn. And you're not going to learn in school. Hang it up. But the parents, the teachers, the council persons, and I don't mean like council members, I'm talking about counselors, for the woke, if that's what you want to call it, the woke folk, whoever you are, pick up a book and read it, because they didn't teach you this in school. You didn't learn the articles of the Constitution in school. Stop it. The most you probably remember, depending on how old you are, is Schoolhouse Rock. That's about it. But as far as the concrete understanding of how the underlying principles of this great republic, the problem that we have is that people have deviated from the steps that should keep us from tripping the steps that level the playing field. Now, I know in a real sense, the playing field has never been even. Well, you're looking at a bulldozer, or you're listening to the playing field ain't never been even, but I'm coming through with the bulldozer. And I'm going to do the best that I can to make it even. But I can't do it by myself. So, privilege, being part of a group, and how do we have groups of dominance and privilege in this American society? And then when we look at the city of Chattanooga, well, for people who don't know, we almost didn't get a city council until 1990. I want y'all to think about that. Almost up until 1990, we only had one African-American person. His name was John P. Franklin of Franklin Funeral Home, who passed away this year. May he rest easy. John P. Franklin was the only person who was African-American who had political power or political influence or say so in the city of Chattanooga almost up until the 90s. We had to sue the city of Chattanooga to even get a city council. And so one of the reasons why people, if you see me and you see me upset with the city council, I'm upset because part of the reason that we even have a city council government, we had to sue the city for that. because we didn't have representation. And even now, where's the Hispanic person on the council? How are we including everybody in this process? Come on. Now, so this world is filled with people who are disabled, people who have mental disabilities. This world is filled with people who visually look different. They're not really different, but visually, color-wise, eye color-wise, hair color-wise, hair texture-wise, look different. But the truth is, you slice us all open, we're all the same. And why do we need to get over and demolish privilege? Because there is not one person that is better than the next man. And the moment we set up these hierarchies, we set up a system that is going to inevitably disenfranchise anybody that's not part of that group. And y'all know me, I'm a loner. I don't really like groups. You know what I mean? I just love people. Y'all stay tuned for the second half of the segment. We're going to talk about microaggressions and agape love. Stay tuned.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
A small plane crashed near the Murfreesboro Municipal Airport on Sunday. The plane was seen descending into a bunch of trees near an apartment building near the airport. Emergency crews rushed to the scene, pulled a 79-year-old pilot from the wreckage. Nobody on the ground was hurt. The NTSB is investigating. Early voting ends on November the 1st in both Tennessee and Georgia. That is this Thursday. The final day to cast your ballot is next Tuesday, November 6th, for the midterm elections. And we all make spelling mistakes, but most of us probably don't write on the roads for a living. A TDOT contractor made a bit of a spelling mistake on the ramp from 4th Street to Highway 27. WDEF reports the road paint warns of a stop ahead. Ahead spelled A-H-A-E-D instead of A-H-E-A-D. Reports say the error will be fixed soon. Val St. John for Nooga Radio, News Talk 92.7, Action News Now.
Sean Hannity, weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 p.m. on Nooga Radio 92.7 FM.
Nooga Radio 92.7.
Cash, 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 and more cash. Get 8.1% return on your money. Rick Davis can turn your cash into real money. Gold and silver bullion. American Eagle Gold. The banks give you a measly 1.9%. At Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds, you'll get 8.1% return on your money. 8.1% return on your money. Wow! Whether you're buying an ounce or 100 ounces, Rick guarantees it in writing. 8.1% Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds. Brainerd Road, Chattanooga.
Even if you like your job, there are some things that can drive you nuts, like the anonymous coward who steals your lunch from the break room fridge, or maybe Tyler, the IT guy, who gives you that condescending look when you tell him that your computer is acting up again, as if somehow it's your fault. You put up with these clowns every single day. But what happens when you've had enough? That's the day you decide to retire. At least that's the hope, right? But will you be able to retire? Can you afford to retire? That's why you need to talk to Ron and Christy Adams at One Family Financial. They can't do anything about Cody, that moron who heats up fish in the microwave, but they can strategize with you on how to get the most out of your 401k or pension, how to grow your money without losing your shirt in the market, and how to help make your money last in retirement. Talk to Ron and Christy today about whether you'll be ready to retire when you finally had it with seeing Ethan walk out of the bathroom again without washing his hands. Gross. Call Ron and Christy Adams at One Family Financial, 423-710-2009, 423-710-2009.
I'm Bo Watson, and I approve this ad.
This is Tennessee Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally asking you to vote for Bo Watson for State Senate. Tennessee's economy is roaring. Taxes are low, and more Tennesseans have a job than ever before. This success has a lot to do with Bo Watson. As a leader in the Senate, Bo works hard so our budgets are balanced and our schools keep improving. We're on the right track in Tennessee, but there's more work to do.
Paid for by friends of Bo Watson, Boy W. Watson III, Treasurer, VoteForTennessee.com.
Your home is a constant work in progress. Repaint the walls? Yeah, easy enough. Leaky faucet? There's a video for that. But roof repair? You might want some help. That's where Chattanooga roofing contractors come in. They have 3 generations of roofing excellence you can count on. Leave the ladder in the garage. Go to chatroofing.com. That's chatroofing.com for Chattanooga roofing contractors, a roofing company you can trust. Man, you sure you know what you're doing?
Yeah, I worked with my dad on his truck all the time. Just one more bolt to go.
Yeah, wrong bolt. Today's truck ain't your daddy's truck. For repairs on today's vehicles, you need Amco Transmission and Total Car Care of Chattanooga on Lee Highway. Stay on the road, not in the garage. Amco Transmission on Lee Highway. Get it done the right way. The Thompson Pet way. Yeah, I just put that anywhere.
Join We've Got You Covered with Scott Schrader every Saturday from 10 to 11 on Nooga Radio. From finance to fixtures, we discuss everything you need to know about buying or owning a home. The pitfalls, the perks, and everything in between. Saturday mornings from 10 to 11, right here on Nooga Radio.
Nooga Radio, Chattanooga weather.
You spent lots of sunshine and pleasant weather out there for your afternoon. Highs settling into the mid, maybe upper 60s. Tonight, clear, chilly lows, lower 40s, a little more late fog. For Tuesday, another great looking day. Lots of sun, 70 to 72, increasing clouds back into the 70s on Wednesday. What did Jesus mean when he commanded us to be ready? Find out in Looking Up, Living in Anticipation of Christ, a book by local author Eddie Turner. Available now at Amazon and Barnes & Noble. And I'm Snortine 12, Chief Meteorologist Patrick Moore.
Nooga Radio 92.7.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Beautiful people here in the city of Chattanooga. I've missed you guys, so I'm back. Energized, ready to go. Boots laced. Oh, man. And the gloves are off. But it's only because I love the people. 800-8949 if you want to call and talk to me. We're talking about check your privilege at the door. I told you guys I wanted to talk about microaggressions. Ooh, this is a much needed topic. We've had people mailing pipe bombs. It's like I left the city of Chattanooga and the whole world went nuts. I don't know. Did people miss me that bad? They just went crazy? I don't know. Mailing pipe bombs, shooting up people in synagogues, targeting people because they're African American. Come on. Really? It's 2018, folks. We don't know any better than this. America is not going to survive as a house divided. Now, we can always argue the finer points of Abraham Lincoln on whether or not he intended to free the slaves. It don't matter. I'm free. I'm free now. It's cool. Whether he intended to free the slaves or not, they still got freed. And I'm still here. But the honest thing that he did see and say in his time that echoes even unto now is that a house divided cannot stand. It cannot. America is ripping apart at the seams. And part of it, I will say, part of it has happened because of media sensationalism, ridiculous outrage. Oh, my Lord. I'm struggling to understand how people legitimately are influenced as if they don't have their own brain. To everybody who's listening, I don't care what color you are, what you identify as, where you've been, how much money you make, you have a brain. And I need you to use your brain and be an individual. Stop this foolishness. What makes America great is diversity. No one person has all of the answers to our problems. You got to go some of everywhere. That's one of the things I loved about being in school was that if I needed something, there was always somebody else that had one thing that somebody else didn't have. Like if I wanted Kool-Aid and pickles, I could go to my homie Kiosha. But if I wanted help with homework on this particular subject with Spanish, I would have to go to a Spanish-speaking friend like my friend Damaris. That was one of the beautiful things about having different kinds of kids at East Ridge, and even more so when I went to Center for Creative Arts. We had exchange students from Germany. We had I had a friend that was from Korea. And it was beautiful being able to sit at a lunch table and asking somebody from Korea questions about having a bento box, which you usually have like sushi and soy sauce and kimchi. And I'm like, what is kimchi? But these are like valuable things. Like I look back on my life and I'm appreciative of being able to sit down with people who are just different from me, because there's something that I can get from them that I just can't get from somebody else. Everybody has something beautiful to contribute to this everyday affair. But how are we going to get there if we are participating in privileges, microaggressions, and we're not doing a good job of checking these things? So what is a microaggression? Let's look at it. Right? So there's different types of microaggression. We got racial microaggressions, which we often call white microaggressions, which looks like a white person clutching their purse or grabbing their wallet, checking their wallet when a Black or Hispanic child walks past them. Right? It could be a situation of gender microaggressions, where often misogynistic males refer to women out of their name on a consistent basis, or expecting them, and yeah, we're going to talk about this pretty soon, whistling at them, catcalling them. Maybe it's sexual orientation microaggressions. We have all sort of microaggressions, which are these daily actions that we have that are visible, sometimes invisible, that we do consciously, a lot of them unconsciously, that are racial biases that we have towards other people. And everybody can participate in this. Even people like me, even African American people can participate in this, right? Calling a Hispanic person a gringo. Or no, maybe that's reverse. Calling American a gringo. Or calling them a bean eater. These microaggressions, right? Hating on people because we haven't gotten over seeing LGBTQ plus individuals in public who have their right to display their same-sex attraction in public if they so choose. I know I'm going to get flack for that. That's cool. If a man wants to kiss his husband, so what? If a woman wants to kiss her wife, so what? So what? Why would you hate on a person? Because they don't do what you want them to do. And that's really what privilege is. It's just groups of people who get together and decide that you can only be cool unless you do what the group does. And I'm very much against that. I hate groups. I hate cliques. I don't really like, with the exception of Concerned Citizens for Justice. And partly that is because it is a diverse group of people in that organization, and the significance of that organization is, other than that, I don't see myself being involved in a lot of other organizations. Because most organizations are very hierarchical, right? And often I've found, and this is where we got to get honest about society. Often I've found that a lot of these hierarchies are dominated, we got to be real, are dominated by white males who are usually straight, white, Christian, and they determine what happens within the group. I've seen this happen even in some good organizations where they have cornered, I'm telling you, they have cornered women. Why do you want to be in the group? You know, this suspect sort of interrogation process that you got to go through even to affiliate. I've seen this happening in good groups, and I'm not going to name them because I'm not going to undercut them because they are doing some positive work. And I would hate for people to withdraw their support. But I've seen this happen even in some good organizations. And it's time for us to start checking our privilege at the door, and partly because America is not going to survive within little small groups. We're not. We weren't made to be this way. We decide to be this way. But if you go back and you look in history, and we've talked about this on my show before the turn of the century, and even a little bit after the turn of the century, there were a lot of cities in the United States that were not racially segregated, where white and black people lived together because they worked together. And somebody decided that they were going to pull the rug back from up under people. And the sad part is that, and this is in particular for my white brothers and sisters, you have a privilege. You didn't ask for it. I understand. Please believe I understand. You didn't ask for it, but you have it anyway. And if you have a privilege, you have a responsibility not only to check your ego and your privilege, because you can't go, there is no office of white privileges where you could go and unsubscribe from your privileges. It is just a privilege that is extended to you because of the system and the hierarchy that we live in. And so I know that you didn't create race. You didn't create segregation. You didn't create any of these instances. But there's a big but. You do have a responsibility as the sensible Christian in the room. You have a responsibility when you hear your Christian buddies dogging out Muslim people, Jewish people. You have a responsibility to check them. You do have a responsibility as the sensible white person in a room. You do have a responsibility when you hear white people talking about they should have killed that black man, even though all he had in his hand was a cell phone. And they're calling us thugs. And basically, we're just getting what we deserve. You got a responsibility to check them. If you are the rich person in the room, the sensible rich person in the room with other rich people, you have a responsibility. When you have rich people talking about poor people, they ain't never been poor in their life, but they talking about poor people as if they've been poor. You have a responsibility to be that sensible person in the room that says, hey, you know, instead of putting your mouth on poor people, how about you go walk and talk to those poor people and see how they're living? Go to their neighborhood. See how the other half lives. Part of the reason why I can pick up this fight is because I've gone to streets where the average person, even people in my family, what are you doing over there? You know, it's gang members over there. Do you have somebody with you? Do you have your gun? You got your knife on you, your pepper spray? No. First of all, I walk in love. I walk in love. I don't have that much that they could take even if they wanted to. They would be sorely disappointed because I don't carry cash on me. I would cancel my card before they use it. They're not going to get much off me, but I walk in love. I'm not coming with a Bible. I'm not looking to thump them over the head with the word of God. I just walk in these streets and these neighborhoods just to talk to people. And it's amazing. There are a lot of people who just don't even have human interaction with anybody outside of their neighborhood. And all they want is just for somebody just to come talk to them. Agape love. I talked about the 4 types of loves. If you have not read that book by C.S. Lewis, The 4 Loves, it is an excellent read. Agape love is unconditional love without conditions, without expectation, loving people just to love them without looking for anything back. It's not a sexual attraction. It's not a brotherly type love, right? It's not a transactional love. It's just loving people because they're people. For those who say that they believe in God and they're Christian, you have a double expectation because Christ came and he took all the complicated laws and he just hinged it on 2 things. Love God with all your heart, your soul, your mind, your spirit, and love people. And then he came back and he twisted that thing back around just so people wouldn't try to find a loophole. And it says it's impossible to love a God you've never seen if you got problems with your brothers and sisters that you see every single day. The problem is not that people are not Christian enough. The problem is that people are not practicing the Christian principles enough. And that all of the principles hinge on love. The word says is that one day hope is going to pass away. Faith is going to pass away. And all that shall remain is love. And if I don't have love, I don't have anything. And Michael Walters, you can say total garbage. That's fine. That's fine. You've been hating on a lot of stuff that I have to say anyway. You need to check your privilege. I don't see what would be trash about agape love. It's missing. It's absolutely missing. 800-8949. If you want to call and talk to me, I doubt you will call, Mike. Please do, though. Part of this ridiculous job of the media, 99% of them, is to keep up this division that should not exist, that we should be working diligently to fill in the gap. This division based on race, sex, class, right? Wealth. These divisions. If we're looking at the future, there is no future if we don't have love. Might as well wait for our demise. Might as well. But I don't want us to do that. What I want, what I hope, what I'm working for, striving for, is a solidarity amongst a good portion of us, because everybody's not going to buy into it. There are some people who are always going to want to be part of a group as long as that group receives benefits. So here's the key. If we want to tear down these groups that participate in microaggressions, solidarity and love is the only way, right? Because until we come together, we're not going to be compelled to tear down these systems of division. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Talk to me.
Well, of course they're not going to call in, Marie, because you make sense. Nothing infuriates me more than these cowards.
Oh, they're
that will
trumps.
sit back and snipe, but don't have enough courage to enter into a discussion, to chin check you if you're saying something wrong, or to engage in that debate that may enlighten everyone. They just want to sit back and snipe.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes from both the right and the left, where, you know, I think, Marie, and I love your passion. It comes from our parents telling us to sit down, shut up, and remember what you say, because you can never take it back. And it's so prevalent in Chattanooga. What is it, Chattanoogans, that you fear expressing yourself? Have you been so neutered by other so-called talk stations? Have you been neutered by the police, by the system, by the schools, by your mom and dad? What is it, especially men? What is it that you have been neutered that you're afraid to speak out on anything? What is it? That's my question, Marie. Thank you.
It's a question that thank you, Mike. That's a question that I ask quite often, because what happened at the last council meeting last week, it was an opportunity for Anthony Byrd, my council person who was in the meeting. He knew Henderson was participating in white microaggressions, right? How does the chief of police fear a 5'2", unarmed, at that time, I'm not always unarmed, at that time, unarmed individual in a meeting? And if I said these inflammatory, ridiculous statements, threatening officers and all this other kind of stuff, why did they not put me in handcuffs and charge me with a crime? But what people don't know is I compelled, or I just told the truth. I'm not going to stand by and watch, because I've never been that type of person. These things continue to happen. I'm going to step up if I see it happen in front of me. I am. And I'm not going to compromise with our chief of police. We need community oversight into the police until we get representatives who have a spine and a backbone. Tuesday was an opportunity for Anthony Byrd to redeem himself and to speak up and say, I'm not going to let you talk about my constituent. And what did he do? He faltered. He crumbled. Oh, man. It's your girl, Marie Mott, with the Marie Mott Show. We got to tear down these systems of oppression with our bare hands. A house divided cannot stand. Until we build with love and concern with one another, America is going to perish. We got to save this great republic, because there is nothing like it in the earth. I'll see you guys tomorrow back on the Marie Mott Show.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
A small plane crashed near the Murfreesboro Municipal Airport on Sunday. The plane was seen descending into a bunch of trees near an apartment building near the airport. Emergency crews rushed to the scene, pulled a 79-year-old pilot from the wreckage. Nobody on the ground was hurt. The NTSB is investigating. Early voting ends on November the 1st in both Tennessee and Georgia. That is this Thursday. The final day to cast your ballot is next Tuesday, November 6th, for the midterm elections. And we all make spelling mistakes.